4,000 years ago, the civilization of ancient Babylon was anchored by a rigid system of belief. The ruling class commanded unquestioning obedience to stone statues and the celestial bodies above them. State power and religious devotion were entirely intertwined, built on the premise that what your ancestors worshipped, you must worship too. Growing up in this environment, a young man named Ibrahim observed his society with deep skepticism. His own father carved the very idols the city prayed to, but Ibrahim refused to inherit a belief system simply because it was old. He turned his attention upward. He watched the stars light up the night, only to disappear at dawn. He saw the moon rise, then fade. He observed the sun, the brightest of all, inevitably sinking below the horizon. He realized that anything that sets or disappears is dependent on something else. By systematically stripping away these fleeting icons, Ibrahim arrived at Tawheed, the acknowledgement of a singular, unchanging creator. This process established a new precedent, that faith should be built on the bedrock of observation. This internal realization soon clashed with the physical world around him. Ibrahim challenged his father and his community, asking why they offered their devotion to objects that could neither hear nor help them. Their only defense was repetition. We found our fathers worshiping them. Ibrahim realized that words alone would not break their conditioning. When the city emptied out for a major festival, he entered their temple. Moving methodically, he took an axe and smashed the pantheon of stone gods to pieces. He left only the largest idol completely intact, deliberately resting the axe against it. Upon returning to the ruined temple, the furious townspeople hauled Ibrahim in for interrogation. When they demanded to know if he had destroyed their gods, Ibrahim pointed to the lone surviving statue. He told them to ask the largest idol who committed the crime, since it was standing right there with the weapon. The townspeople were forced to reply that idols cannot speak, an admission that instantly invalidated their own creed. Out of their own mouths, they had articulated the helplessness of the very objects they feared, leaving their ancestral traditions without a logical foundation. The intellectual threat Ibrahim posed soon reached the highest level of authority: Nimrod, the tyrannical king of Babylon. Nimrod operated as an absolute monarch, demanding to be revered as a living god who held the power of life and death over his subjects. Brought before the throne, Ibrahim stated clearly that his Lord is the one who gives life and causes death. Nimrod scoffed, brought out 2 prisoners, executed one, and pardoned the other. He claimed this proved his own divine authority over mortality. Ibrahim did not argue the semantics of execution. Instead, he presented a new parameter. My Lord brings the sun from the east. Bring it then from the west. Nimrod had no answer. Worldly power, no matter how absolute or violent, was completely neutralized by a single statement of rational truth. Defeated in debate, the ruined class reverted to the final tool of the desperate, brute force. To reassert their dominance, they built an execution fire so massive that the heat prevented them from approaching it. To carry out the sentence, they loaded Ibrahim into a catapult and launched him toward the roaring flames. Mid-air, suspended between life and near-certain incineration, Ibrahim was visited by the angel Jibril, who offered him assistance. Ibrahim refused. He stated that Allah's knowledge of his situation was enough. He placed his absolute trust, his tawakkul, entirely in the Creator. At that exact moment, a divine command was issued directly to the flames. O fire, be coolness and safety upon Abraham. The physical properties of the fire were instantly suspended. It burned only the ropes binding him. The townspeople watched in stunned silence as he emerged completely unharmed. When human reason reaches its physical limit, total surrender to the divine transforms guaranteed destruction into miraculous peace. Knowing that his work in Babylon was done, Ibrahim migrated away from the empire. He traveled toward the Levant, seeking a secure base where monotheism could take root. This journey brought its own severe trials. In Egypt, his wife Sarah was targeted by a tyrannical king. After Allah miraculously protected her from his advances, the intimidated king gifted Sarah an Egyptian noblewoman named Hajar, who joined their household. For decades, Sarah had been unable to have children. Recognizing Ibrahim's prophetic need for an heir, she selflessly offered Hajar to him in marriage. From this union came a long-awaited son, Ismail. This migration allowed Ibrahim to establish a new base, ensuring his lineage would grow in a land far from the influence of his former home. Yet, the trials only intensified. Following a direct divine command, Ibrahim took Hajar and the infant Ismail deep into the Arabian desert, leaving them in a completely desolate, sun-scorched valley with only a small pouch of water and dates. As Ibrahim turned to leave, Hajar followed him, asking why they were being abandoned in an empty wasteland. When she finally asked, "Did Allah command you to do this?" Ibrahim answered yes. Hajar's response was immediate. "Then he will not abandon us." But faith does not eliminate the need for effort. When the water ran out and her infant son began crying from thirst, Hajar took action. She sprinted back and forth between the hills of Safa and Marwa 7 times, scanning the empty horizon for help. At the height of her exhaustion, the angel Jibril struck the earth, and the spring of Zamzam burst forth from the dry sand. In humanity's bleakest moments, absolute reliance coupled with desperate effort guarantees divine providence. The ultimate test arrived years later, after Ibrahim and Ismail had reunited. Ibrahim received a recurring divine dream, a command to sacrifice his beloved son. It was a test of the heart's attachments, weighing his love for his child against his submission to God. Ibrahim confided in Ismail, and the boy replied with staggering resolve, telling his father to do exactly as he was commanded. As they walked to the site, they were repeatedly approached by Satan, whispering logic and doubt to stop them. They physically pelted the whispers away with stones, continuing their march. Father and son prepared for the sacrifice, but just as Ibrahim submitted entirely to the action, the blade was halted. Allah intervened, announcing that the trial had been passed, and replaced the boy with a ram. No blood was needed. The purpose of the trial was to prove that no worldly bond could supersede obedience to the Creator. Having successfully navigated these extreme trials of intellect, physical endurance, and emotional sacrifice, Allah elevated Ibrahim to a new status, an imam, a leader and model for all of mankind. His final major task was one of construction. Together, Ibrahim and Ismail began raising the foundations of the Kaaba in that same barren valley. They gathered stones, laying the physical groundwork for a sanctuary dedicated strictly to the worship of the one true God. As they built, Ibrahim prayed. He asked Allah to make this land a place of peace and security. He prayed that the hearts of people would incline toward it, and he asked for a final messenger to be raised from among his descendants to teach them the book and wisdom. There is a deep architectural justice to his story. The young man who began his journey by systematically smashing the physical temples of falsehood concluded his life by building the eternal physical house of truth. Ibrahim's life spanned a massive arc, from a solitary, questioning youth studying the Mesopotamian stars to Khalilullah, the intimate friend of Allah. His trials are permanently etched into the actions of the faithful. When millions of modern pilgrims perform the Hajj, they are physically retracing Hajar's frantic, desperate search for water between Safa and Marwa. The simple stone structure that he and his son built in total isolation now serves as the anchor point for the earth. 5 times a day, billions of Muslims orient themselves toward that exact location to pray. Ibrahim's journey, which began with a solitary observation of the stars, ultimately defined the physical and spiritual direction of a global community that still gathers around his foundations 4 millennia later.